Professor Homa here with part 3 of our EX surgeries exercise or assignment that we're working on, and I've just been formatting some things here, so I'll just finish up a little bit of what I was doing here. Now again, all this formatting, you're basically just using your paint bucket and your little A symbol here to make the text and background different colors. So however you want to set that up, it's not a big deal for me. Have some fun with it if you can. If you want to use a lot of different colors, if you want to use a color scheme, whatever you want to do here. The last couple things here, if you remember, if you want to alternate colors, I'll use it like a really light gray here. And I didn't mean to do the text, so I'll make my text black again, or automatic, and then I'll use the paint bucket for the gray. That's what I meant to do. So if you have to do a couple at once, remember to always hold your control key, and then you could get non-adjacent rows or cells set up to format. So just putting some grays in there, and then down here I'll use this dark burgundy color, which I think was this one. And then obviously whenever you have a dark color, you want to use probably white type to make it stand out a little bit. So, and again, I chose the wrong thing here. Let me go back. I want to use the A for my type. Okay, and if I want to, I can make that bold. Since it's a heading, I'll make this a bold. I can even align this right, so this kind of starts up these totals here. And then if I wanted to use a different color down here, I'll just use this kind of light burgundy color. So however you want to set that up. So I have all my data here. This looks really bad yellow. I have to change that. I'll just put it white. And again, I keep hitting the wrong color for the background. Alright, so there's my spreadsheet, there's my data. Now what I want to do with all this data is get charts from it. And what charts are used for is to present to meetings and things like this. You can go there and tell people in the committee which surgeon is not making mistakes or not having complications, which surgeon is having complications. You can generate all kinds of charts from this data. And I'm asking you to do 3 charts: total surgeries, complications in surgeries, and then we're going to do a rate. We're going to use this rate of complication. Now, we're not going to use a pie chart, just to show you something real quick with this one. Maybe I'll do this one first, but let's say you're going to do these surgeons. And I'll highlight the 6 surgeons and then hold Control and highlight the rates of complication. You might say, well, their percentages, shouldn't I do a pie chart? Now, if I went to Insert and I did Pie Chart, here's my pie chart, and one thing just to note, remember these percentages, it's adding up the percentages, and the biggest one here, this Okalika one, even though he had 11.7 rate of complication, he's the highest. This pie chart makes it seem like, it's a huge amount of complications that he has, but 11.7 would only be a little sliver. So this is in relation to all the other surgeons, not in relation to his surgery. So this wouldn't be an accurate chart to use, so I'm going to delete that. What I am going to do is go to Insert Chart and just do a column chart and just show the totals. And here's my chart. And again, one thing I'll do here is I probably don't need, even though it's putting a legend here, I probably don't need a legend. I'm just going to put an access title on the bottom and on the side. And what I'll do, the way to do that is go under Layout, and I'll do Chart Title, and I'll put above chart, and this is complication rate. Make sure you double click in here, complication rate, and that's my chart title. If you want to put an axis title, just go to axis title. I'll do my horizontal one below, and that one's an easy one. Those are just surgeons down there. And then my vertical one, I'll get rid of, if you want to get rid of this legend, just click on it and hit delete. And then if I want to add a vertical one, and again, I like to use the rotated one. If you do vertical, I don't like the letters on top of each other like that. I think it's hard to read. So I'm going to make sure I go back and do a rotated title. And then you can still double click in here, even though it's kind of feels strange double clicking when your cursor is going in one direction. But this just is, I guess we could put percentage of complications would be a title for that side. Okay, and then if you wanted to put the data labels, the last thing in here on this chart, just make sure you're on the chart and just go to data labels, and I'm going to put inside end. And they're a little long on this, but or actually they're a little hard to see on here, so I'll do outside in. However you want to do it, you could try out different things. Yeah, they look better with outside in. And there's lots of different ways you could go in and work with these charts. I didn't go over a whole lot of stuff with charts, but you know, if you'd want to explore with charts a little bit more, there's lots you can do with this other than the basics. I'm giving you the basics here. So, and again, I didn't use a theme or anything, but if you wanted to go to Format and or I'm sorry, Design and choose a theme, here's a nice theme over here. Look how nice that looks just by one click of the button. So it's a nice looking chart there, and that's for the complication rate. Two other charts you have to do, and again, this is real quick, so I can move through this real quick. Again, I'm just highlighting the. In this one, I'm going to do the cluster one, and one thing I'll show you here that I usually tell you not to do is I'm going to highlight the word surgeon and the surgeons, but make sure whenever you do this, you're even. So you do the same thing when you select the other one. So I'm going to select the surgeon title and the 6 surgeons, then I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to highlight the totals for surgeries and complications. And what that should do is it should use this to create a legend. So I'm actually highlighting the heading here and the 2 headings here, and you always want to highlight things evenly. So if you're highlighting 7 here, make sure you're highlighting 7 here. And I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to do Column, and it doesn't say Cluster Column, but it'll make one because we have multiple columns selected. And I'm going to do Cluster Column. And you can see it. Here's the legend that it created. I'll move this over, and if I want to do the same kind of theme, I'll go down here, and there's my theme. And again, I could add my title. And I'll just add my title for now, just to move quickly. Actually, let me pause, and then I'll add these things in, and I'll do my last one. Okay, now I filled in this data. One thing to note here is that I didn't need a vertical axis. I only put a horizontal axis title because I have a legend here, which is showing me surgeries and complications. So I don't need anything down here that it would basically be saying the same thing. Okay, so this is my second chart, and my third chart I think was just, let's see, we have complication rate, total surgeries, was just total surgeries, so that's an easy one. That's just surgeons, we just highlight the surgeons, hold Control, and highlight the total surgeries. And again, if you want to try this by doing with the title, you could do that too, and see what happens. We'll just go Insert. Remember, with charts, if you screw things up, just delete it and start again. And I'm going to do a column chart. And all that does, one thing it did do, which say it put in a title here, but it just put surgeries. And actually, I don't want a legend. There's no reason to have a legend when you just have one color, so I'll delete that, and I'll go in here. But I do have a title above there, which I don't have to insert it. I could just type in, and I'm just gonna. Actually, I don't have to. I could just put total in front of this. And there's total surgeries, and then if I could put in my axis titles, I'll go to my theme and make it the same theme as the others. And again, you could put in your axis titles. Okay, I put in my horizontal axis title here. One thing, just a little thing to show you here, is if you click on this, if you want to change the name, if you just click on it, it's hard to type in there. You can go up here and just put in surgeries. You could type right up here in the formula bar and hit return, and it should type that in for you. So I know sometimes, you know, any of these, if you want to change it, just click up here and type. A little shortcut for you, because sometimes it's hard to like double click in here and get that in there. But these are charts, so you know what you would do with these charts, you know, is I know this looks kind of sloppy here, but what you would do with these charts is you'd copy and paste them in some kind of document that you're putting together to show this data. You can have this data shown, and then you could describe it, and what people usually have to do is explain it a little bit and give their view on what's happening with complications, total surgeries, show trends, things like that. And you know, we haven't got into line charts and things like that, but you know, again, we're sticking to the basics here. But you know, this is, like I said, when you're working with charts and you haven't done it a whole lot, stick to simple charts. So I think that's it. I think we're pretty good with this. I think we have everything we need here in the third video, so I'm going to stop here.